Good morning, Thomas MacLaren. I hope you all stayed safe and warm over this last weekend with the winter storm and that you had a little extra sleep on a Monday morning. Today, I'm going to talk to you about bioluminescence. Bioluminescence is the biochemical emission of light by living organisms. There are over 700 genera on our planet that are known to produce light by a chemical reaction. Of these, about 80% live in the deep oceans and are difficult to observe in their natural habitat. The first image here is of the Firefly Squid that spends most of its life in the deep oceans off the coast of Japan. We will revisit this little guy later. The underlying chemistry for all bioluminescence is fairly consistent across the various organisms that create light. In general, the reaction involves the oxidation of a substrate, luciferin, by molecular oxygen. The reaction is catalyzed by luciferase, an enzyme that makes the process biologically efficient. The oxidation produces an excited electronic state of the substrate that emits light as it relaxes to its ground state. Luciferin and luciferase are general terms for the substrate enzyme pairs used in organisms to produce light. Here we see two examples, the luciferin-luciferase pair found in fireflies and the pair found in a specific type of sea pen. There are many similarities between the two and between the mechanisms, but there is still quite a bit of diversity in the substrate. On the right, we see a variety of luciferin substrates across a range of species, including bacteria, dinoflagellates, and krill, to name a few. The subtlety and nuance of the reactions produce varying colors of light with different intensities and are the subject of study by molecular biologists and biochemists alike. But this is probably too much chemistry this early in the morning for most of us. Instead, I will focus on the role of bioluminescence in several example species. Scientists believe that bioluminescence originated as a protective mechanism against reactive free oxygen. The light was a byproduct of this protection. However, organisms developed more efficient ways to protect themselves against oxygen, and bioluminescence took on other roles in the lives of many organisms. It is now believed that creatures use bioluminescence for three main purposes: attracting mates for reproduction, protection against predators, and to lure prey for consumption. Many species use bioluminescence to attract mates to ensure the survival of their species. One example that many of us have seen on summer nights in the Midwest and Eastern United States is the common North American firefly, or Photinus piralis. The male fireflies glow bright and with distinct patterns used to attract females of the same species. The females in turn glow in response to the males, leading to reproduction and survival of the species. The flashes of light follow distinct communication patterns, flashing with specific rhythms and frequencies unique to Photinus piralis. Given the accessibility of the firefly, this is one of the most studied examples of bioluminescence by scientists to date, and there is the most information concerning the luciferin and luciferase pair in this species. Here we can see a picture of the bioluminescence of the common North American firefly. And here's another image where many of them have lit up the night sky. A marine counterpart to the firefly is Wattisenia scintillans, commonly known as the firefly squid. This species spends daytime hours at depths of about 300 to 400 meters. At night, the squid migrate vertically to shallower waters of about 20 to 60 meters. Here we see an image of the bioluminescence of the firefly squid. They use it to protect themselves when they're migrating vertically to mimic the way the ocean looks from underneath them. They also use it to attract mates. And after mating and producing eggs, the adult squid lifespan has come to an end. The squid die, and many Japanese fishermen collect the dying squid for a sushi delicacy during the months of February through July. Many of the dead squid can also be seen washing ashore in a spectacular display of blue along the beach. Yes, these are dead squid that are lighting up the coastline here. For defensive bioluminescence, sometimes the colors alone are enough to ward off predators. The railroad worm, common in North and South America, is actually the larva of a beetle. This creature emits two colors of light, a yellowish green along the length of its body, as well as a red light from its head. It is the only known insect to produce red light by bioluminescence. The colors are intimidating enough to predators to scare them off. Another defensive mechanism that utilizes bioluminescence is used by the deep sea shrimp. When threatened, the shrimp eject bioluminescent slime as they scurry off. The slime serves to obstruct the view and distract the predator. Here you can see the bluish slime that has surrounded the shrimp just before it scurries off. The slime also sticks to the predator and in turn attracts secondary predators large enough to consume the primary predator and thus allowing the shrimp to escape. No discussion of bioluminescence would be complete without the mention of the deep sea anglerfish. These anglerfish use bioluminescent bacteria suspended in an appendage on their forehead to lure curious prey close enough to be eaten. Technically speaking, the fish are not bioluminescence, but it is the bacteria that they store that produce the light. This is a good example of symbiosis. The bacteria get a nice place to live, and the anglerfish gets to dangle a bright lure in the dark water. A quick warning, these are not pretty fish and have faces only a mother could love. These images are all of female anglerfish. The males are much smaller and have very short lifespans with the sole purpose of mating and producing new offspring. These fish are elusive, living in the deep, dark oceans, and have rarely been seen in their native habitat. Most studies conducted on these fish are conducted on dead samples that fishermen catch in their nets, or they have been preserved in museums. There's very little footage of actual, or very few photographs of actual anglerfish that live deep in the ocean. This is only a small sampling of the variety of bioluminescence in our world. Scientists continue to develop better techniques to explore light created by these living organisms, and the studies range from simply observing new species to developing synthetic means to reproduce the chemicals involved. Bioluminescence has probably existed for millions of years, but we are only now grasping the details and truly seeing the light. Thank you.